What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Now in this video, I'm going over my watch list for the trading week of September 12th, 2022. Let's get to it. Alright, so here are the catalysts for this week. On Tuesday, CPI, which stands for Consumer Price Index data, will be reported. I read some analysts are expecting a slight reduction in the overall number. And we'll take a quick look at the QQQ to see how the market reacted to the last few CPI reports. Now on Wednesday, we get the PPI, which stands for Producer Price Index, which tracks inflation as it relates to producers and wholesalers. And on Thursday, we'll get the retail sales numbers from August, which will give us some insights on consumer spending. Now on Friday, we'll get the UK inflation update, which is projected to rise up to 13% in the next few months. All right. Let's take a look at this week's earnings calendar. Okay, since we don't have a lot of companies reporting this week, I went ahead and went through all of the charts. And the majority of them are low price companies that I'm not really interested in. But we do have Oracle and Adobe reporting. And of those two, I'm only watching Oracle. I mean, Adobe does have the potential for a big move in either direction. But looking at the option chain is too much of a gamble for me to even consider. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some charts. All right, first we'll look at some indexes, starting off with the QQQ. And here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now I went ahead and marked off the CPI data release dates from May through August, which reports the data from the month before. Now May's data was released on June 10th, right here. And inflation was up 8.6%. And the QQQ dropped for the next 4 days, 4 out of the 5 days following that. Okay. Now June's data was released on July 13th, right here. And inflation was up to 9.1%, but it wasn't as much as people expected. So the QQQ ran for 6 days before it pulled back. Now July's data was released on August 10th, right here. And inflation was unchanged, and the QQQ ran for 5 days before a major pullback. And that's where we are right now, okay? And like I mentioned in the catalyst portion, the analysts expect a slight dip in inflation, which could mean a nice few days of upside. But like always, we'll have to just wait and play what we see, okay? And as you see right here, I still have my head and shoulder, and we're right at the top of the shoulder right now. So if this plays out, the QQQ could be coming all the way down, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the levels that I have for this week. Now, right now, the QQQ is sitting around $307. Now, if QQQ can stay above $306.75, the first level that I'm looking for at the test is around $312. If it can get through that, the next level is around $323, okay? Now, if the QQQ decides it wants to sell off and it cannot stay above $306.75, I'm looking for it to drop all the way down to around $299, around $300. If it can't hold that, the next level is going to be around $295. And if it can't hold that, all the way down to around $283, $284, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. Okay, up next is the Russell 2000, ticker symbol IWM, and here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now, if you're not familiar with this one, this ETF tracks the small cap stocks, okay? We haven't looked at this one in a few weeks, but we're coming up on a possible rejection point around $191.50. Now, I drew off this area right here. You can see that it was a prior support where it bounced off a couple times. And once it broke beneath this, it got rejected around this $191.50 point. Now, the last time that it broke through it, it kept running. But right now, we're coming up on this area again, so it could possibly reject here or it could keep running. So the levels that I'm watching right now it's sitting around $187.50, the bullish scenario. If it can stay above $187.30, I'm looking for it to test this $191.50 level. If it can get through that, the next level that I'm looking at is around $198. If it can get through that, around $201, okay? Now, if it cannot stay above $187.30, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $183. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $168, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. Okay, so the first stock we're going to look at is Oracle, ticker symbol ORCL, and here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now, the company reports earnings after the market closes on Monday, and I should mention that they have beat on their last 5, okay? Now, right now, the stock is sitting around $76. First off, the bullish scenario. If they can stay above $75.50, I'm looking for it to test around $78.75. If they can get through this, I'm looking for it to run all the way up to around $84.50. Now, if they have bad earnings and they miss and they cannot stay above $75.50, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $71.75. If it can't hold that, the next level is going to be around $69.25, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, up next is Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA, and here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now, Tesla had a pretty good week last week. It went from around $267 to flirting with almost $300, okay? So the levels that I'm watching for this week, right now, like I said, it's flirting with around $300. If it can stay above $298.50, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $304, okay? If it can get through that, I'm looking for it to test around $314.50. Now, this is a pretty significant level right here that has been rejected on quite a few times in the past, but if it can break through this, I'm looking for it to run all the way up to around $337, okay? Now, if the market decides it wants to sell off and bring Tesla with it, and it cannot stay above $298.53, I'm looking for it to come down and test around $287.75. If it can't hold that, the next level is going to be around $279. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $258, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, up next is Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA, and here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now, some may be wondering, Nvidia again? Yep, Nvidia again, and I'll tell you why. The stock has an ATR of around $8. It trades over 50 million shares a day. The options aren't ridiculously priced, and semiconductors continue to be a hot topic. Now, if you compare that to AMD, which trades around 80 million shares a day, but the ATR is only around $4. So both of them are nice to trade, but I tend to chase the bigger moves, okay? Now, in Nvidia news, they will be hosting their GTC conference on September 20th, where it is rumored that they may be announcing their new RTX 40 series GPUs. So that may supply some hype to the stock, okay? And I'll leave a link to the conference information in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the levels for this upcoming week. Right now, Nvidia is sitting around $144, okay? Let's zoom in a little bit right here. So first off, the bullish scenario. If they can stay above $143.60, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $147. If it can get through that, the next level is going to be around $151. And if it can push through that, the next level that I see for it is around $164. Now, if Nvidia decides it wants to sell off, and it cannot hold $143, I'm looking for it to drop down to around $138, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right, so the last one we're going to look at is Disney, ticker symbol DIS, and here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now, this weekend, Disney held its D23 Expo, where they announced a lot of upcoming projects, including live action and animated movies from Marvel, 20th Century, Lucasfilms, and Disney Plus. They also previewed a lot of new content from the Disney Channel and Disney Junior. Now, if all goes according to their plan, it was overall a pretty big catalyst for new subscribers and earnings going into 2023. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that chart. All right, so like I mentioned, this is Disney on the daily chart. So let's zoom in a little bit. Right now, Disney is sitting around $115. So first off, the bullish scenario. It needs to stay above $115. If it can, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is the bottom of a weekly imbalance candle at $120. If it can get through that, the next level that I'm looking for is around $122.50. If it can get through that, the close of that imbalance candle at $130. Now, if Disney decides it wants to sell off and it cannot hold $115, the first level that I'm looking for it to test is around $112. If it can't hold that, around $110. If it can't hold that, all the way down to around $108.50, okay? So keep these levels on your watch list and let's see what happens. And that is the end of the video. If you found value, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. Here's wishing you a prosperous week of trading, and until next week, talk to you later.